Imagine a city so grand that it was called the Eternal City. This was Rome, the heart of a huge and powerful empire that lasted for over 1,000 years. When we think of ancient Rome, we often picture magnificent buildings with tall marble columns, like the famous Colosseum. We imagine powerful senators in white togas discussing important laws, and brave soldiers marching in perfect lines, their armor shining under the Mediterranean sun. This vastness meant that Rome was a melting pot of different cultures, foods, and people. You might see a merchant from Syria selling beautiful silks. They created aqueducts, which were like giant stone bridges for water, to bring fresh, clean water from the mountains right into the city's fountains and public baths. It was a city that was always changing, always growing, but Rome was more than just its beautiful buildings and its diverse population. It was a city of incredible engineering wonders that still impress us today. Join me as we pull back the curtain on this fascinating civilization and uncover not only its famous glories, but also the shocking secrets that were hidden just beneath the surface of its golden age. What was it like to be an ordinary person in ancient Rome? Most Romans lived in crowded apartment buildings called insulae. They were often poorly constructed, made of wood and mud brick, and could be several stories high. The apartments were small, dark, and noisy. There was no running water in these homes, so people used public fountains. The clothes a Roman wore told you a lot. We often picture togas, but the toga was formal wear for male citizens. Everyday people wore a simple tunic, tied with a belt. Fabric color and quality showed status. The wealthy wore fine linen or silk in bright colors. Food was simple and local. The main meal, the cena, came in the afternoon. It often included porridge made from wheat or barley, plus bread, olives, and cheese. Many bought hot food from street vendors or ate at Thermopylae, ancient fast food counters. School wasn't universal. Mostly sons of wealthy families attended. Boys went to a ludus. Their teacher was often a Greek slave. They were taught reading, writing, and basic arithmetic. They wrote on wax tablets with a stylus. The aim, prepare boys for careers in business, the military, or politics, ensuring the next generation could continue to run the great Roman machine. Nothing captures the excitement and brutality of Rome quite like the gladiator games. These bloody spectacles were held in huge amphitheaters. The day would often begin with exotic animal hunts, lions, tigers, elephants. Then came the main event, the gladiators. These fighters would march into the arena, salute the emperor, and prepare for a life-or-death battle for the entertainment of the crowd. Who were these gladiators? Most were not willing heroes. The majority were slaves, prisoners of war, or criminals. They were sent to special gladiator schools, where they were trained in different fighting styles. Some fought with a sword and shield, others with a net and a trident, some even fought on horseback. A successful gladiator could become a celebrity. They were the sports superstars of their day, admired for their bravery and skill. When a fighter was defeated, he could raise a finger to ask for mercy. The final decision often rested with the crowd and the emperor. The crowd would wave handkerchiefs, give a thumbs up or give a thumbs down. The games were more than just entertainment. They were a powerful tool for the emperors. By providing the public with free food and spectacular shows, a policy known as bread and circuses, the emperors kept the massive population of Rome distracted and happy. While the grand monuments of Rome were a sight to behold, the city's streets held many dangers, especially after dark. Rome had no police force like we do today, and no streetlights. The narrow winding alleys were pitch black, perfect for criminals to hide. Robberies were extremely common. Wealthy Romans would hire bodyguards to protect them at night. On top of that, things were often thrown out of the windows of tall apartment buildings, so you had to watch your head for falling trash or even falling pottery. The Roman legal system had many strange and fascinating laws. For example, a father known as the pater familias had the legal power of life and death over his household. Another strange law said if a master was murdered in his home, all slaves under that roof could be legally executed. Even the powerful emperors were not always the noble leaders we see in statues. Caligula, for example, was infamous for his madness. It was said he loved his horse, Incitatus, so much that he gave him a marble stable, a jewel-encrusted collar, and even planned to make him a consul. The Emperor Nero considered himself a great artist and forced people to attend his long concerts. Roman society was filled with superstitions and strange beliefs. Before big decisions, a Roman might consult a soothsayer who read the future by examining the liver of a sacrificed animal. They also believed in all sorts of curses. People would write curses on small lead tablets, fold them up and hide them away. Hidden in graves, hidden in wells, these secrets show a side of Rome that was full of fear, magic, and mystery. The story of ancient Rome is also the story of its emperors, men who held almost absolute power over millions of people. The first emperor, Augustus, was a clever and careful ruler who brought peace and stability after decades of civil war. He worked hard to improve the city of Rome, famously boasting that he found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. However, not all emperors were as skilled as Augustus. Power often led to paranoia and cruelty. Tiberius grew to distrust everyone around him and retired to the island of Capri. Later, Domitian demanded to be called Lord and God and created a reign of terror among the Roman elite. He used a network of informers to accuse and eliminate rivals. Despite that, the Roman government was remarkably resilient. Even under bad emperors, the empire's machinery kept running. Governors in distant provinces continued to collect taxes, judges continued to hear cases, legions continued to guard the frontiers. That's because the empire was run by administrators, clerks, and officials who kept things organized day to day. And now for a final, surprising fact that reveals Rome's mix of brutality and practicality. While we think of crucifixion as horrific, the Romans saw it as routine, especially for slaves and rebels. Roman doctors believed the blood of a freshly killed gladiator could cure epilepsy. The sick would wait by the arena and, for a price, drink the warm blood of a fallen fighter. This gruesome practice shows a world where spectacular violence and desperate hope existed side by side.